So in the first melodic improv strategies video that I sent you last month, we just got our fingers moving. So we get beyond our inhibitions, we just let our fingers float, and we get used to doing that in whatever style you're working in. So you can continue that, especially sometimes, you can say for this part of the practice session, I'm just going to be playing a tune, whatever it is, improvising on, let's say, take the A Train, jazz. I'm just going to keep my fingers moving. I don't really care if I'm creating a melody or if it all relates or if it forms a whole. I'm just going to keep my fingers moving. And then, sometimes it'll sound better than others, but we're just getting fluent. It's like we're learning a language by talking and listening to other people and conversing and just getting into it, right? That's a huge step. So keep doing that on whatever level you're at. In this lesson, we're going to start looking at something else too. And this is sort of parallel to that. At the same time you're doing that, we're going to approach real melodies and we're going to start manipulating them, almost like an artist taking a lump of clay, and then what can we do with it? Okay, we can make it into a ball. And now we can sort of hollow it out and make it into a bowl or a cup and put a handle on it and drink it. Or then we can roll it and we can make it into a long stick or something like that. And then we can flatten it out and make it into a plate. So we're taking like the artist materials of clay in that case and manipulating it and shaping it. We're going to start doing that with musical materials and manipulating those, and we're going to start with melodies. And then in future lessons, we're going to come back to improvising and constructing them like melodies are, like with motifs and things like that. This tradition goes back probably since the beginning of melodies, and it's sort of like if you're, I'm going to start with Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, because Mozart used it. And, if you know Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, you might just be, singing it, twinkle, twinkle, little star, right? And then sometimes you hum it without the lyrics, right? Or you're in the shower singing, you're just like bum 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 bum. You can have some fun with it, right? That's what we're gonna do. And actually, before I get to this, I just want to start with that. So I just start on C, and then go to G, and you can just sound it out for yourself. This will be good ear training too, but it's... purposefully used one finger for part of it just to show you don't get hung up on the fingering. It doesn't really matter, just adjust and get over that, right? Because when you're improvising, you can't predict all your fingerings, right? But you're playing, this is a question that comes up too. What if you're playing, improvising a line that's going up, ascending, and you come to your pinky and you don't know what to do next? It doesn't matter. You could just cross over any way you can, or just use your pinky a few times. And you build it into how the phrase goes, You could also just stop there and then come back down, So eventually, or as you go along, you develop more and more of a relationship between what you hear in your musical ear and where your fingers are and where they are on the keyboard, so that you kind of predict those. Okay, I want to go higher, so I'll keep doing that, or I'll put my thumb under. But it's very fluid, and it's not perfect. If you run out of fingers, just don't go as fast. And then just alter the line when you're improvising, because you can do whatever you want. So you could use Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. You could use whatever other simple melody you know for this. Mozart used Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, although it was called something else. It was a French folk song at the time, because the lyrics to Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star weren't written in England until later. But what he did, and this is sort of a model for this, these theme and variations that a lot of these composers used. Well, like I said, I'll start, I'm sort of rethinking this a little bit on my feet here. So we'll start without that. So basically, everybody from classical improvisers in the past, when everybody improvised, to folk musicians doing, folk songs of any country, pretty much, or jazz musicians or pop musicians today, they're very good, or you get very good at making melodies your own and sort of using them like the artist uses clay. So if you take a Beatles song like Strawberry Fields Forever, great performance by John Lennon, and you Google that and you see some covers. I remember I saw Cyndi Lauper doing that. And she kind of changes the melody and changes the phrasing, makes it her own. That's what I'm talking about here. So we can take Twinkle, the easiest way to do this is to take something like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and all you're going to do is you're not going to change the notes, but you're just going to add rhythms. Add extra notes or make some of them longer. So for instance, instead of going, we could go, see? I just went ba 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 bum ba ba bum bum ba 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 bum 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 bum, making it more like a drummer. Or I could make it more fluid with triplets. Da 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 da. So that's just the first way to do it. You just add some different rhythms. You can do it like a pop ballad. You could do it like a lively dance, like a folk type dance. That was a good example. I meant to go, but it didn't speak. I just went, so then I simplified the rest of it, thinking on my feet. So I'm just using this musical material of the melody, and I'm just changing the rhythm, maybe doing it slower, faster, and just repeating a lot of notes, getting very fluid with that. Fluent, fluid. Kind of sound like the same word, right? And if you want, you can be inspired by someone like what Mozart did, but don't expect that it's always going to be this good, because he thought this out, He wrote this stuff out, he thought about it, he revised. So he did some fun stuff. I'm just going to show you, excuse me, a few things he did, just as inspiration. You could also use passing notes or neighboring notes. You could go. Things like that. And that's what he did here. He did the melody. And then variation 1, he kind of, instead of just going, he went, see, he circled it. Instead of going, he circled that too, up and above and below. Instead of going, he went, see? He's getting pretty fancy. So anyway, I'll play a little of this, but this isn't really where we're going. I just want to show you what some composers have done. See, so you could sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star to this. Let's see if I can do it. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. See? So he's just making every step really fancy. You don't have to do that. I don't have to do that. If I want, I can try a little trill. I've never done that before on this, but I was sort of using him as inspiration. There's some other things he did that are a little more approachable, that are just a lot of fun. Let's see, this is the most fun. It's variation number 5, and he breaks it up. He goes... He had some harmony, but he doesn't have to. So you could do that. Twinkle, little star. See? He puts it in minor at one point and puts, instead of going, he connects it with a scale. And comes down slower. Things like that. You know, just use him as inspiration or whatever. But I just want to show you that composers do that. They take this raw musical material, the clay, and they manipulate it. So we're manipulating these melodies. I'm just going to open to some random songs and do it. This is a Beatles songbook. And let's see. I'm going to find a song that we all kind of know, or most people know. Let's see. Free as a Bird? No. Let's see. I know a lot of these, but I don't know. Do you know Dear Prudence? I'm not sure if everybody knows that one. All right, you know what? Let me go to Let It Be, because I know everybody knows that, or most people. Let It Be, L273. Okay, and this is a good point too. As you work through my lessons, the other side of the coin is getting to know lots of melodies and lots of songs. So you don't even have to worry about the chords. So you learn it as written. We'll do the first little phrase here. And you just play that until you know it really well. Don't do the whole song, you know, whatever. And then we'll do the same thing I did on Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, just adding rhythms. Yeah, and now at the end, I didn't add a rhythm, but I changed the rhythm instead of going, or I didn't add notes, but I changed the rhythm. Instead of going, let it be, I went, let it be. And that's another part of this. Learning how to just phrase like a singer would, delaying some notes, you know. You know, things like that. Let's do a silly one. Let's do Yellow Submarine, 490. Let's see, where are we? 490. There we go. We'll just go to the chorus part. You could do that. See what I mean? Just using these melodies as material that I can change the rhythms, mainly adding notes to. Or, you know, repeating notes. Playing the same notes, but playing more of them. This is the real book, Jazz Fake Book. Let's see, let's do, trying to find something that a lot of people know. All right, let's do Autumn Leaves. All right, so play Autumn Leaves. We're going to do a little swing beat here. Now I'm just going to repeat some of those notes. I'm changing the rhythm. Or for the second ending. I can also start playing some neighboring notes. If it lands on C for 5 beats, I could go C down to the next note and back up. So. So take the sort of attitude that you're not trying to make it perfect all the time, because it won't be perfect for me or Miles Davis. But basically, we're learning it just like I said before, like you're singing in the shower or just sing a song you really know well. Ba-ba-doo, ba-ba-doo, do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do-dee, ba-ba-doo-da. You know, and you're just sort of having fun with it. Like, and you hear little kids do this all the time. You know, they can do this. But somehow, at some point, we stop doing that because we're thinking, oh, what's the correct way to do it? There is no correct way to do it. Mozart didn't have a correct way to do it. He was trying things out too and experimenting. And that's how you innovate too. All right, so I'll do the whole thing and I'll mess around with it like that. Now, you might not do it as easily as I do it because you haven't done it that much, right? So have some patience. Start doing it now and say, okay, if I start now, in 6 months, this is going to be much easier for me. Have that point of view. You know, there's things I'm working on too that are going to take me 6 months or a year to get as well. So, let's just look at one more, and you could pick a folk song that you know or whatever. You could do it with Amazing Grace. I'll do it in the key of C. You know, when I got sort of near that part, I'm thinking, wait, did I get off the melody? Am I in the right spot? And then I just kept going, and you pick it up, you know. So part of improvising is not really knowing where you're going. I heard a great quote. I read it on the internet by one of my a guy I took a few lessons from, Harold Danko, wonderful piano teacher, teaches at the Eastman School of Music. I think he still teaches there, jazz piano. And there was a quote. He never said it to me, but I read this. He tells his students this now, I guess. He says, we don't learn to improvise. We improvise to learn. And by doing this, you're going to learn so much about music and about melodies and get better at it at the same time. So have a lot of fun. And for now, just do this with the right hand. You don't even have to play left hand. If you do know the chords, you can. Messed up the ending, who cares? We just keep going. So going back to our first video, the melodic improv strategy is number 1, where we're just getting our fingers moving. That's with the improv. Now this is kind of the same thing. I didn't think about that. It's getting our fingers moving more, but with a melody, by repeating notes a lot and using it like clay, like I said, to manipulate it and shape it in different ways. Do this with a wide range of melodies. For a long time. Even after we go on to other videos, keep doing this, for a year, 2 years. It's a wonderful way to just make the music your own, and it's what everybody from Charlie Parker to, when I go like this, know, it might seem like a big stretch from Autumn Leaves on the page of the real book, but it's really how jazz musicians play. If you heard Coleman Hawkins or Lester Young, or I guess this is a little after Lester Young, but if you heard Miles Davis do this, he's going to do some of that stuff, right? This is how people interpret melodies. So enjoy this, dig in, and good luck.